few researchers in our research group to write actually a review paper about this topic, expectation and reality of COVID-19 pandemic on aquatic environment. But in this seminar, we will focus about the marine environment in this seminar. Okay, so we know that now the COVID-19 is very well known to everybody from, I think, from small children to old people. Okay, so up to date now, the total cases is about 51 million in the world, and total recovery is about 36 million, and the death is about 1 point something, 1.2 million. Okay, and so since the lockdown has been taken place, most of the positive impact on the aquatic environment can be seen from the naked eye. Okay, so however, what we are concerned is the negative impact or the invisible pollutant such as chemical and biological pollutant that may enter the aquatic environment. Okay, so most of these pollutant may build up in the environment through bioaccumulation, biomagnification, and also bioconcentration process from unnoticed to toxic level. Okay, so when all the country implement lockdown, so we can see some good perspective and also the bad perspective to our environment. Okay, so for the first one, for the good perspective, so scientists they noticed that in during the lockdown, we already reduced the emission of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Okay, so all the office, the business, the industry activity has been shut down. So as quickly all these activities has stopped, the major problem that we have been fighting for decades has happened in a few days, and nature has become accustomed to it. So what the problem? There are, for example, like air pollution and also the level of the carbon dioxide. Okay? So all of these have reduced the fossil fuel consumption and led to a sudden drop as it never been seen before in carbon dioxide emission profile in the atmosphere. And several scientists also they proved that uh, CO2 is more than being greenhouse gases that are leading gases responsible for the ocean acidification. Okay, so the excess of anthropogenic atmospheric CO2 carbon dioxide is absorbed by the ocean, and this one they can become aqueous and react with H2O, seawater, to form a carbonic acid. With this process, they will decrease the seawater pH. Okay, if the source of ocean acidification drop drastically, okay, for example, the CO2 levels, we could expect to see changes in ocean pH worldwide. Okay, with normal interaction between air and water, we can expect to see an increase of pH. Thus, an ocean basification can occur. Okay, this just shows that what happen if the oceanification occur in the ocean, because normally they will like attack all the shellfish organism, bivalve and so on. Okay? So when during the lockdown also, because we noticed that our sky is very clear. Okay, so when the sky is clear, the scientists predict that the sunlight they can penetrate deeper to the ocean. So this indirectly they can enhance the ocean productivity. For example, the plankton and also the coral, the grass, seagrass, and so on. Okay, for their photosynthesis process. So this indirectly they can increase the productivity activities in that area. Okay, and besides that, this lockdown also they can improve the clarity and also the quality of the water. So we know that anthropogenic by human activities can mechanically disturb the water chemistry. Okay, both propeller they can mix up different layer and add oxygen in the first one. Thus, they can modifying the water chemistry in the area. Okay, so maritime traffic, recreational and fishing boats, they can create wave when their propeller mix the water, and this water turbulence can stir up the sediment if the area is very shallow, and resulting in shedding of aquatic plant due to increased water turbidity. Okay, So most of the aquatic environment used to be brownish before, okay, before the lockdown, but now they are blue and crystal clear. So we can see in the bottom of the river and so on. So we take example in Venice, in Canal of Venice. So before this, uh, the water quality is very, I can say it's very bad, right? Okay, and we can see an improvement of water quality due to the reduction of water traffic. Okay, not only from the tourist famous gondolas, but notably from the motorized boat, including water buses, main transportation for the Venetian and also the cruise ship. Okay. So the improved water quality has led to report of previously occur many aquatic species that are not present before the pandemic. Okay, reappearance of small fishes in the area, crabs, jellyfish, and seaweed in the canals. And then the other good perspective is the lockdown has reduced the aquatic pollution in the ocean. Okay, we know that the noise in the marine environment may significantly impact the marine species and ecosystem, for mainly to mammals organism. Okay, so lockdown was also linked to reduction in marine aquatic pollution as terrestrial pollution. Okay, so there's been a significant decrease in cruise ship and freight shipping, with improve and uh, export falling by 10 to 20% in some port worldwide. I think this also include Indonesia, Malaysia, and also Thailand, all around the world. Okay, so consider the detrimental effect of aquatic pollution on marine mammals. So some cetaceans such as whales and dolphin, also sea turtles, which rely on the sound for navigation, communication, or hunting. So now they like the biological implication of the Aquatic Ocean to be substantial. And now some scientists reported that these animals, they are swimming near to the shore. Okay, the other good perspective is the recovery of fisheries resources. Okay, due to lockdown, the restaurant is shut down. Okay, then this can reduce the demand for the fish and seafood in the world. Okay? A number of the fishing vessels around the world are also unable to leave the harbor due to lockdown, and the fish population may see a spike from fishing to allow the recovery of the population. Okay, so some scientists they estimated that if the fishing activities are limited more than a year, this risk to complete their spawning cycles, and this can increase the fish stock in the world. Okay? And then during when we did our snorkeling or diving, sometimes we step on the corals. Okay, so maybe because sometimes we snorkel at the shallow area. Okay, then if you want to take a rest, so we step on the coral. Okay, so during the lockdown, there's no snorkeling or no diving activities in the area. So this allow all the corals like to reproduction again. Okay, and beside that, less anthropogenic impact such as limited boating activity that can cause the water pollution, the wave energy from boats, okay, that can cause coastal and beach erosion, snorkeling and diving activities that increase the sedimentation, okay, light pollution and coastal resort can hinder the landing of turtle nesting and many others. Okay, so we move to the bad perspective. So we know that for the first one, the plastic pollution. So we noticed that during the pandemic, we only we can allow to take away one. Okay, so some the report mentioned that the increase of single-use plastic during the COVID-19 pandemic, food using plastic container, and many grocery shop and restaurant also prohibited their customer to bring their own container and shopping bags, okay, to cross contamination. So with this, the uncertainties of the duration of the pandemic, we predict that this plastic pollution will be a major issue and impacted for a long time in the future. Okay, so because the improper deposition of plastic will eventually affect the aquatic environment. So how? Because the plastic, they can break down to microplastic. Okay, they can break down to smaller pieces, and some of microplastic can be eaten by numbers of marine species or organisms. Okay, so these small plastic particles are common in the aquatic environment because of their micron particle size existence. Such as particles are confused as food. Okay, and they are ingested by numbers of marine biota, including corals, phytoplankton, zooplankton, sea urchin, lobster, and so on. Okay, so this is how the microplastic is produced in the ocean. So from a larger plastic product, and then from clothing, from fibers, and from the personal hygiene product for the microbeads. Okay. Then beside that, the trust and the sewage pollution also increased. So during the lockdown, all of us, we stay in the house, stay in the home. Okay. So I think most of us, what we did is we just eat and eat and eat, and then we create a lot of trust or sewage. So that's why when we see the sewage area, so there's a lot of sewage every day. There's full. The tank, the 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 tank is full. Everything. Okay. And the other one is the pharmaceutical waste. So some report shows that growth of discard single-use masks and glove was washing line and littering the seabed. Okay. So if every person use a single face mask day for a year, okay, it will create an additional 66 tons of contaminated waste and 57 tons of plastic packaging, which greatly impact the marine environment and human health as a new form of marine pollutant and the source of waterborne disease. Okay. And with the increasing numbers of positive cases reported, more pharmaceutical will be introduced and tested in the future to treat this disease. Okay, so there is a concern on the elevated level of pharmaceutical residual they might infuse into the aquatic environment due to the increasing number of pharmaceutical and drug used in the medical facilities. So the presence of pharmaceutical residue in the aquatic environment will also affect other aquatic compartments such as sediment and also biota. And aquatic environments consist a lot of organisms that are being used as our food, okay, every day. Fishes, shellfishes, so on. Then the uptake and bioconsumption of pharmaceutical residue by aquatic organisms is a concern due to the effect that it might have to human health. Then the other best perspective is the grey water runoff. Okay, so during the amount of grey water runoff from kitchen and laundry activities in the residential building are expected to increase during the lockdown due to the household activities. Okay. So what is grey water? Grey water is a wastewater produced from house such as bathtub, shower, hand basin, kitchen sink, dishwasher, and laundry machine, and may pose a possible threat to the stream system and also public health. For example, triclosan is an antimicrobial agent, and it is commonly used in personal care item. And this agent can impair the reproduction and growth of some species. For example, like algae. Okay. And during the lockdown, the main cause of the increased contaminant is the urban runoff from the laundry and water. Okay, the presence of metals and micropollutant pose a possible threat to stream system and also public health. For example, uh, sorry, I think this already repeat. Sorry. Okay, so why this pollutant is very dangerous when they enter our environment? Because as mentioned, Dr. Susana Apple before, so we we consume all the pollutant after we throw all the pollutant. For example, like when we throw one plastic to the environment, then after that the plastic will degrade to become microplastic, and then the fish we eat, and then we will fish the fish to eat the fish. Okay, this is how the cycle of the pollutant. So what we can summarize from this pandemic is there is a positive perspective. For example, the CO2 level, the water clarity increase, the water quality increase, the hydrocarbon levels decrease, uh, the fishery resource increase, and the coral reef recovery. Okay, but the negative impact is the trust increase, the pharmaceutical waste increase, the plastic, the grey water, and the zoonotic disease increase, but the aquaculture activities has decreased. Okay, so as a okay, the coronavirus disease or COVID-19 pandemic has spreading very rapidly. Okay, throughout the world since the end of December 2019 to the present day. Okay, since the lockdown has been implemented in almost all countries, there has been a loss to the world economy. Okay, although this pandemic poses a serious threat to human health, environmental pollution from sea to space is declining. Okay, and the nature is recovering to almost the ambient condition. And the positive environment impact we can see today may be temporary before the nation begin its daily economic and social activities as usual. Usual. Okay. So what we can learn is we should learn from this instance how to reduce the negative impact on our environment on a long-term basis for sustainability and future generation. Okay. So I would like to share with you all, just now like Dr. Shona Iper said, uh, we we have to, how to say, we have to try to reduce our pollutant that can enter the environment. Okay, so I I think that now we are not restored. We cannot restore the marine environment to a normal condition, but actually we are create a new marine environment. That's why, for example, now what we can do to save our environment is we try to reduce what, for example, like plastic that we use and we recycle it. Okay, and for the trust, then we can maybe have a proper management of the trust. Okay, so this is what our current work in my university in UMT. So together with the researchers in the OPEC, so Ocean Pollution Toxicology, so we are gathering all data for aquatic environment, and we try to store all the data in the GIS database. Okay, to share all the data to everybody that they need it. Okay. So we are looking forward to new research collaboration to explore the beauty and of pollution study and to fill in the gap. Because if we cannot work alone, we need to work together. Okay. So this is how some of the field that our group cover: marine pollution, we have metals pollution, ecotoxicology, we have marine environmetric, microplastic, hydrocarbon, and so on. Okay. So I think that's all. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ong, for the inspiring presentations. So yeah, you have showed us about the good perspectives and negative perspective of the coronavirus disease pandemic. So there are some I wrote down the positive perspective that we have corona to reduce the CO2 level, water clarity,